Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews. This was originally intended yesterday, but as you know, Wednesday I was caught off guard. So I'm here today with Black Clover chapter 102, Asta's Day Off. A funny chapter, an enjoyable chapter, an interesting chapter. And why is it whenever Asta has a day off, there's always a day involved? For some reason it's like dates are us or something when it comes to Asta's Day Off. And this title is called Asta's Day Off. So, without further ado, let's get into this review. So, looking at the chapter, if you look at it as a whole, if you look at the key ingredients of this chapter, the main kind of message from this chapter was, well, there was a few, but the main one is the start of a new arc. That's what this is about. And the way that we got this across was the introduction of this festival, about the awarding of stars. It's meant to be like in a month's time or Marchish time. And all the different teams can compete for these stars. So this is where the next focus is. It's kind of like the Grand Magic Games of Fairy Tail, for example, or like the Genin kind of exam for Naruto. So these kind of things are essentially what is the next big event, I guess. Now, with that being said, over the last couple of weeks, one thing that I've always been interested to see more of is development. And one of the things that's quite obvious in this is development for the other members. So rather than getting like an arc about what everyone else has been doing, we've kind of got the results because they all came in at the same time. And we've had a big change in them, but they kind of go back to normal at the same time. So that's kind of in a spoofish way, a jokish way to say, okay, you know, we've got this big growth, but we're still the same people. And I like that, although those character designs for the change were pretty badass and some were funny, but it's basically a way for them to show them growth, because that's important when you think about it. A lot of focus has been on these main characters. It's been on Noella, now on Vanessa. You know, we've obviously got our main man Asta, and you know these characters we get to see a lot of development. Even Yami we got some development on, but we didn't get to see the rest of the Black Bulls. So this is that first kind of step towards that development. I really like that, because after what happened last time with Vet, them getting their asses kicked, they really needed something more to be in a decent position to help the Black Bulls really get to the right place, especially in terms of rankings. We get to see the rankings from last year, and they were minus 50. Of course, the position has already changed because a lot of the work Asta and the crew have done, they've kind of at least got rid of that negative pointage, so there's less of an area for them to catch up on. That puts them in a better position to hopefully end up kind of in a, hopefully either number one or close to that. So that's an interesting thing to bear in mind with it. Now let's talk about the reintroduction of these characters, because one thing I was discussing in a previous conversation from last week's video is what I was expecting to happen next. I was worried that the way it was addressed or questioned was something might have happened to them, or it's going to be a rescue arc. Thankfully that isn't the case, but we got to see them straight away, and we've got to see that they've developed. So the Magna Swing and Luck Voltaire return was kind of cool, because Luck was like, oh man, I feel it all. So that tells me they definitely have a power up, and Magna Swing kind of confirms this. But then they didn't have an answer for Asta's deal, and they went back to normal when they found out about this. So their strength has improved, and the power has improved, and Magna Swing has obviously gained power. Luke Voltaire's, I believe, his sensory abilities improved with the lightning and things like that. I think that's part and parcel of his abilities. Then we see Gordon and Gouch, and they're like kind of become otakus, very knowledgeable. So the knowledge for spells, for counteracting spells, for kind of creating more spells, their knowledge for spells has increased. However, Gouch's actual reaction was probably the best thing in this chapter, because once he realized that Asta's arms couldn't, they were healed, he didn't have a healing for them, he was like, what do you mean they're healed? Go get yourself cursed again so I can find a way to heal you. That reaction was amazing. He goes, just look at a picture of your sister. And then he was like, oh, nosebleed again, and went back to normal. That I found funny. Now, the only crew that came back was Charmy's crew, and she was covered in this mushroom where the more you eat, the more it develops. And we know she loves food. She looks like out of all of them to not have developed as much, but there's a reasoning behind that. if you look at the way all of the other characters were structured powers wise, she was given a higher rank anyway, plus she seems to have a greater potential than they. Well, she seemed to be more powerful, and that has been evident from the beginning of the series. So although she doesn't look like she's developed any further, she's more powerful to them than them to begin with. So we haven't really seen the full capacity of her. She kind of eats, falls asleep, gets pissed off that people are wrecking her food, or gets tricked into thinking that, and then wrecks people. So there's a lot more to her than we know so far. So don't worry about that too much. Then a cool thing happened, and you can look at this in two ways. You can look at this, well, they've healed them so quickly, or, you know, I'm glad they're okay. So basically Kiato and Kahono, if you remember from the underwater temple, the brother got his leg broken and the sister got cursed so she couldn't speak. That has now been healed by the black witch's magic that they got in a vial and blood magic and healy, and that sorted it out. Now this just could be an interesting thing because they want to go through the world and do all these things, but ultimately they now owe these lot, you know, the Black Bulls one. So maybe they might be able to help them or help them train in preparation for this festival, although it does end up in a double date, because they're not necessarily, if you think about the rankings or the power comparison scaling, whatever, of what we know of wizards, in the underground festival, the weaker ones, the ones before the top three, were considered at least mid-tier, intermediates, and basically Asta and the crew wrecked them. And then they started struggling with the advanced tiers. So the way I understand it, and this is probably going back on memory, you got people that are just under the Sorcerer's Emperor, which is normally your captains. Then you get the advanced, then you get the intermediate, then you get your lower intermediate, then you get your low. That's how I remember it, unless I've messed up the wording. But these people are meant to be just below captain level or around captain level-ish. So training with people like that will probably help their experience and grow even further, which I'd imagine is going to be all necessary in terms of events. Also, we'll finally get to see other members of those crews. Remember, I mentioned in the last couple of weeks that we haven't seen the vice captain. I think this may be part of the introduction. He's probably going to turn up on the festival, for the festival, or just after the festival. This is where we're going to get introduced to the powerhouse that is the vice captain. Considering we've got some interesting and powerful characters, there has to be someone special to be considered vice captain of the Black Bulls, and we're going to find out very soon. Anyway, that is my review. It was a nice and playful ending with a double date. All hell's going to break loose, I know. Our favourite pervert / unwanted royal member who does teleportation, Finral, didn't get a date this time round, but I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll find someone, don't worry. Anyway, we look forward to that next week. As always, thank you very much for checking out this video. Whenever you do, like, comment, share, subscribe, get involved in the conversation if you can. And if you're on Twitter, my link will be in the description also. I'll see you next time. Peace.